Welcome back to Motorcycle Maintenance Channel. Today we're going to show you how to replace your rear wheel on this R3 motorcycle. So stay tuned and follow us through it. To replace the rear wheel, you're going to want to grab a 19mm socket, which you're going to hold on this nut over here on the chain side, and a 22mm socket, which you're going to hold on the caliper side. And then unbolt it. It's torqued at 58 Newton meters, so it will be kind of hard to break. Okay. There's our washer. Yeah. Our axle nut. Now we're going to want to push our axle nut out of the bike. There we go. And just pull it out. The axle. Oh, and there's the wheel. Okay, now what I like to do, come through here, is to pull the sprocket out of the wheel first, like so. And then this is just the cush drive. And you take your wheel out. Now it's ready to go to wherever you go to get new tires, to have them throw on a new tire for you. Now, once you went to the store and got your new tire mounted on your wheel, it is time to put the wheel back in. So, first thing we need to do is put the cush drive back on, which is just these pads here, which I guess are a little cushy. And you put them on like so. We'll take our sprocket out of the chain and put it on. It goes here in between the cush drive. I'm just going to lay it down to be a little simpler for me. Those cush drive needs to be pretty dry when you put it on. Some people even go as far as to put baby powder on them. Not necessary, but you can do that if you want to. There's a little spacer here that never came out of the sprocket, so it's just going to stay there like that. And there's another spacer that goes on this side of the sprocket, on this side of the wheel, right there. Don't forget your spacers. Okay. And they might pop out during the course of the installation, but we'll just pick them back up and put them back into place. So we'll move the rotor out of the way. You wrap this chain around the sprocket like so. Just comes on and wraps around. And put this guy back in. There we go. Now to fit the rotor back into place. The rotor just goes on like this. You know, we'll gently, because you don't want to mar we just put new pads in there. You don't want to mar those pads. You know, gently pry open the pads on each side and get it to where that rotor slides into the pads. We'll get our axle ready. You want to put light grease around the outside of your axle before slipping it through there. It's still fairly greased. So this is why it's also important to compress the cylinder, which we did, into the caliper to give you more room. And when you replace the pads like we did, it's even harder with brand new pads because there's even less room to for your rotor to slide in between there. Without putting the rotor where it goes, without putting the caliper where it goes, I'm just going to try to slide the pads around the rotor. It's just not a whole lot of room there. So I'm actually not putting any pressure on the pads themselves, just on the piston behind it. And I mean, for the most part, it's all pushed in, which I did with my thumb. I'm just making sure that we get as much space as possible. That should be enough clearance there. There it goes. Yeah, but the spacer falls out. That is okay. Good thing is, we got the caliper in there. Thank you, sir. Now we're gonna just drop it ever so slightly to stick the spacer back in. Oh, and then we do that and the rotor comes out. So I'll do it again. There it goes. Do not come out of there. Alright. I'm just going to put the axle in real quick. This is similar with a lot of sport bikes. I'm going to grab my skateboard. This isn't an official tool by any means, but when you're using it to work on bikes, it's a tool. All right. I'm not sure they sell it for these bikes. I know for the Kawasaki ZX-10R, they sell these spacers that actually bite into place so that this problem doesn't happen. I'm not sure they have them for the R3 though. There we go. All right, so there it is. Everything is in place right now. Now we're gonna use my third hand behind me to hold the skateboard a little bit. Butt cheeks. And place that axle in there. All right, there's the axle. Walk it through over here. All right, it's in, kind of. You don't have to use a skateboard. You can use a 2x4 or what have you. I use a skateboard because that's what I have around, and the shape of it actually helps. All right, and that is how you place the rear, put the rear wheel back on after you get the new tire from the tire shop. Twist this. And then we will hold the rear, the nut on the chain side with a 19 millimeter. And we will spin this guy with a 22 millimeter. And now we have to tighten it to 58 Newton meters. And it's on there. All right, guys, that's how you take the rear wheel off and replace the rear wheel on an R3 motorcycle. Stay out of